Thank you for listening and watching today's show. We aren't here to tell you what to think, but to inspire and empower you to do your own thinking for better life results. We are being shadow banned, censored, canceled, and deleted simply for sharing our message. Go to contacttammy.com and always stay connected with us. At contacttammy.com, sign up for our latest report on health, freedom, and organic lifestyle. Text the word health to 833-838-1020 and get free access to our community and a chance to win free merchandise and products. Send me a quick message and become a supporter. There are many options available, and you will have a direct impact on keeping independent media healthy and growing. Go to contacttammy.com and let's stay connected. If you aren't yet a member over on livenaturallyinspired.com, head on over there and join the community. Right now, if you sign up, you can actually get your first month for free by using promo code Tammy. That's TAMMY, and it's over on livenaturallyinspired.com. We'll see you there. We are here to help people feel good so they can do what they love for longer. So let's get started with today's Health Watch tip. Today, I'm talking about what is healthy and what that actually means. Over the last 2 years or so, I've actually redefined what is healthy because before, I think we can be lured in by the way someone looks or, the regimen they're on. And we think, okay, that's healthy, right? That must be healthy. But really, the absence of disease doesn't equate to being healthy. And what do I mean by that? I mean, just because someone doesn't have a certain label or symptoms at that time doesn't mean that they're living a healthy lifestyle. So I want to get into this a little bit more because I saw a very inspiring post a couple of days ago from someone I follow on Instagram. He's a health coach, a life coach type in that space, works in that space. And he was very candid in his post talking about steroids. And I found it really intriguing because I'll admit I've been a little naive when it comes to steroids. It's not my first inclination to think when someone's fit, oh, they must be on steroids. Because I don't know. I don't have any experience with steroids myself. So I don't really know what their limits, what our natural limits are compared to how someone can transform with steroids. So he really outlined that for me. So I wanted to explore this topic a little bit more. Let's take a look at this article from metapress.com. And the title is Bodybuilding Healthy? Physiological and psychological impacts. This is a great article because it kind of talks a little bit about how bodybuilding is making, a bigger strides in mainstream. You're seeing these photos on social media and influencers that are, taking these beautiful pictures of their bodies. And I think that's wonderful that, people do that. However, there is kind of a dark side to it. And I think the dark side is that, well, one, it impacts our impressionable youth in a strange way, because they don't really have any context to what they see online compared to what the expectation is in reality, unless as parents, we outline that to them all the time, which I try to do with my kids all the time to make sure they stay grounded in reality. So there's that portion of it, but also there's this other portion of it that affects adults. And when we are wanting to start out on healthier living for ourselves, it can be daunting when we see all these perfectly curated photos on Instagram of these trainers and health coaches. And, they've got washboard abs and they're like 0% fat looking like, and, it's like, wow, that seems like I have a long way to go. Well, this particular influencer I'm talking about revealed that he himself uses steroids, and he doesn't have a problem admitting that he uses steroids. And he uses them for specific reasons because he knows at his age that he simply cannot achieve the results that he wants and needs to achieve for his brand, probably, but also just for his own personal wants. And I found that so interesting. You know, he very candidly revealed that he knows steroids have drawbacks. They can be quite dangerous. He's known people who have died from using steroids on stage and whatnot as a bodybuilder. But he feels that he keeps a close eye on it and he monitors his blood, and he wouldn't give them up for the world because there is no comparison. And this is his opinion, which I agree with. There is no comparison to using steroids with someone who is building naturally or just, you know, trying to stay fit naturally. You simply cannot compete with them. A natural physique compared to a bodybuilding physique that uses steroids, he said, is 5 to 10 times over. They're going to exceed your results. So that is something that really needs to be talked about more widely, because I feel like we have these expectations, and especially when it comes to these goals where we compartmentalize these goals of ours, like we want to be a certain weight and we want to have these results and this is what we look like. We tend to try to simplify things in our minds so we can find the quickest path to get there. Like, oh, I'll just do this, this, and this, and I'll have this result. Well, a lot of times people even get to their results, you know, say if they want to weigh a certain amount, they'll get to that weight and it still isn't enough because they are comparing themselves to these photos online or other people who are actually not natural, right? They're using enhancing drugs to get that effect. It's not fair, right? And I don't like that word fair, but we're doing it to ourselves. We are beating ourselves up by comparing someone else's results that aren't naturally achieved to the work that we do that is 100% natural, right? We're using food and maybe some supplements but it isn't steroids, right? So we have to really determine what it is we want, what's important to us. And I find it interesting because what we may think is healthy actually isn't long-term healthy, right? Like this guy who's talking about steroids, he's willing to accept, he's informed, and that's his choice. And I fully support that. I do whatever you like. I'm for freedom here. Absolutely. But he is making the choice to prioritize the way he looks over his health. And through the pandemic, I've really noticed that in terms of who I follow on social media, who is a health coach or a life coach or a holistic person or whatever. It's really come to the forefront who is really truly promoting health and who is really truly promoting aesthetics. And those are two different categories. And I think people need to understand that because it can be confusing because someone looks like what we think we've been conditioned to think is the epitome of health, with all the muscles and the very lean body fat and the washboard abs and everything. But when you get to the bottom of their regimen, they don't have a problem smoking cigarettes. They don't have a problem with eating pizza all the time or burgers or fast food or any of that. That's not the goal. The health is not the goal for them. It is the aesthetics, right? It's what they want to look like. And that's totally fine if that's your goal and that's what you are putting out there to attract clients or to attract people to follow you. That's what you need to put out front, is that you are promoting looks. You're promoting, being hot. Quite honestly, that's what you're trying to help people achieve. You want to look hot? Follow me, that kind of thing. But it shouldn't be confused with health. And I was very, very happy to see that influencer talk about that, because it was kind of shocking. Most health coaches, and this is a broad statement, but I really do feel it's true, knowing what I know about what it takes to achieve some of these results with such little body fat, they're not open and honest about the steroids or performance enhancing drugs that they're using to achieve those results. I've actually interviewed a couple of different physique builders on Naturally Inspired podcast, and it was very interesting to learn their stories. One of them was Carrie Shaw, and she was the wife of Brian Shaw, World's Strongest Man. And she went through quite a transformation. She was figure building and very involved in that community. And her family actually had an intervention with her and said, "You need to stop. This isn't healthy." She was, dehydrating herself for very low body fat. It is simply not an achievable state of being. It's something you do just to get ready for the stage. And a lot of people who aren't in the community or aren't familiar with those types of posing and fitness competitions don't realize that is a very short window that they stay in stage ready. And it can be quite dangerous. And she described that in that podcast. And it was a very candid and revealing podcast. I've also known other people, same kind of experience, right? It's very excruciating near the end there to get all the water out of the muscles. And yet this is what we compare ourselves to, is them on stage ready, because that's what they're putting out in social media. So we have to decide as adults, do we want health or is our goal aesthetics? Unfortunately, some platforms censor the information in this show. Watch the rest of this episode by going to naturallyinspireddaily.com. Find amazing interviews with people like David Icke, Max Egan, frontline doctors, and more at naturallyinspiredpodcast.com. Connect with me directly at tammycuthbertgarcia.com. Support our amazing team. Help us defeat censorship and become a subscriber for only $5 a month at livenaturallyinspired.com. Find me on all social media platforms at connectwithtammy.com.